So this is what we said about the Maisa, that man that wanted the woman. Likutei Moharan to Chavtes. He says that the person that wanted the woman didn't give it to her. In other words, Isha Yus Hashem, person that was pagan with his various cause of Adam Nidach to the Shechina, caused not the Nachash, Moshechel Legama, that the serpent bites her. Sitzer Acha has a Yenika from her. And there's a separation between Kuchabich and Shechinte. In other words, they wouldn't give her to him. This Shogishaga Navel says, why does he go to a higher Mechina? In other words, when a person wants to be Metab the Malchus, he goes to a higher Madrega, which is Tikkun HaKloli, Isha Yos Hashem, Tzadik Moshe Liras Elokim. This is the Tzadik with Tikkun HaKloli. He rules in Yos Elokim, which is the Malchus, the Morash Malchus. We said he took a pin, a stake, and tried to drive it in. Stake is Masmeros, Divrei Torah Masmeros. He says he put in the law of Madregas when there is no Tikkun HaKloli. When there is no Tikkun HaKloli, it doesn't go in. It's Masal Di Salak Reb Shimon. The Dibur is forbidden. It doesn't go in. Can't say Divrei Torah. It says he put the stake above. Then he went in. It's Bechina of the days of Reb Shimon, which is Keser Abris, Keshes Abris, Tikkun HaKloli. Then the Dibur is Mutter. He showed them that it is not possible to fix the Dibur. In other words, to load the Dibur with goodness, to be Merom and Das, except through the Shevach HaTzadikim, which is Tikkun HaKloli of Dibur. And he says the same thing applies. Also, the urn also is on. So, yeah, the same thing applies to all the other things. You cannot fix them except through Tikkun HaKloli. So all of it, the Moichin, that from them come the Lavunius. This is what says when you put it above, Anami Sromile Basmazle, what he got, the door of his muzzle. In other words, his basher, so to speak, Al Pi Pshat. Al Pi Remez, he was Musakin, the source of mazel, of trickling down. The Moichin, the Lavunius comes from the Moichin, trickles down from the Moichin. It spills from the Moichin, comes down from the Moichin. So Anami Sramel Basmazli is talking about Moichin Chas Venozlim Milavonon, that the Lavnunius comes from the Lavonon, comes from the Moichin, and that's the reason that when a person wants to fix the Moichin, he wants to be second the Malchus from the Damim, he goes to a higher Madrig. Dafka, because he goes to the Moichin, because he wants to bring whiteness from there, he has to fix Tikkun HaKloli, and this elevates the Moichin. Then he can bring whiteness from the mind. Now Rabbeinu explains. Hainu shetofas lehem ledugma es hadibur. In other words, he took as an example to that principle dafka is in of dibur. And he showed them he showed them it's not possible to fix it, to rectify it, except through Tikkun HaKloli. And what's the proof to that? During the days, the lifetime of Reb Shimon, the Dibur was fixed, everything was proper. But after Reb Shimon was mistalek, don't let your mouth make your flesh sin. The dibur was forbidden. That's what it says. He put it underneath. There's no Tikkun HaKloli. Dibur is also. The same thing is the same thing applies, the same principle applies to all things. You have to rectify through tikkun. You have to rectify every single thing through the overall, the fundamental. I think the problem, the word fundamental, is more accurate than overall. So it's a tikkun haklali, the fundamental tikkun that is shaykhtan, like the masa matan. The masa matan, the business dealings, needs a tikkun haklali of the masa matan. The tzedakah, v'chen kulam, the same thing applies to everything. You have to repair everything through the tikkun haklali that belongs to that thing. Everything. And you have to elevate the moichin and bring down whiteness from the moichin in order to fix and to whiten all the damage, all the pagamin. And the only way, at this end, there's no way to fix all the pagamin except through tikkun haklali. He too, he got the daughter of his mazel. That was, he elevated the moich. The moichin comes down from the moichin, from the brain. And after the Rebbe said this to you, the Rebbe added this particular pasuk. And he says, Kesef nivchor l'shon tzadik. A chosen silver is the language of the tzaddik. And Reb Nosson adds, and Reb Nosson says, "Biur ze ma shaychus yesh lepasuk ze l'Torah anal lisbor b'makom acher," or as it says, it says as follows: in Likutei Moharan, he wrote, "Torah hayman de'azel minsav itza." Our Torah, that person that wanted to marry a woman, Torah Chavtes. The Rebbe says in Shavuos Taf Kuf Samech Vav, that was the first time that the Rebbe wore begodim levanim, white begodim, on Shabbos and Yom Tov. And then he was nichlel, and that was already included in the Torah, b'chinas begodim levanim, the white garments. Because everything that they spoke about the Rebbe, whatever it is they told him, was included in the Torah. The Rebbe took it, included in the Torah. And also another person brought his young daughter that had epilepsy, and he also brought wine. And all this is included in this particular Torah. Alter yain kis adam, don't see wine for it become red. This is the damim that are pressing on the moichin, because that's what the wine does. It influences the moich. It's a redness influences the moich. The right amount elevates the moich. Too much makes a person dumb. He says, a few wondrous things that we saw with our own eyes that were included in this story, milvad, of course, all the mysteries that are included in this story. And of course, his etzem kavona is not possible to be masing. And he also said that this Torah stands on France.
France?
Yes, France. Because he speaks over there from money, and tikkun haklali or masal matan, and tikkun haduba shel shavach hatzadikim, and from begodim levonim, white clothing. This is the word kesef nivchor l'shon tzadik, a chosen silver. Silver, we know that the Rebbe says that the brain is as white as silver. So that's the tikkun. Nivchor l'shon tzadik, if you're mishabech the tzadikim, that's a tikkun adibor. So there's kesef nivchor l'shon tzadik, Soifer Tevas franc. It's the last letters of every Teva is France. And it's shaykh to ois ches before, that we said that wine represents the overcoming of the damim, of the blood. It's a woman that has a problem in setting her cycle. Even though wine, hurts her, as it says, yain kis odom. Rabbeinu says that his end will end up blood. If a person drinks a lot of wine, ends it an argument, and it ends up in bloodshed. But within the Divrei Chazal means that there is a kesher between yain and dam. The b'chinas nichnas yain yatzasod, when the damim of come and press, that makes the dibur aser. It's called megala soid. It's like you're somebody who is revealing a secret that should not be revealed. That's why the yain is mazikla, because it makes the bloods even more. Im koze, even though wine is bad for her, nevertheless, her refuah the yain shistakel b'tzadik hamiti. Her refuah is dafka to drink wine that the true tzaddik looked at it. The eyes are a bechina of hair. What do you mean hair? Shiva gildin eino. In the eye there are 7 hair. Membranes. The 7 membranes of the eye, which are as thin as a hair. In the eye, there are shchavot, layers. This is Shiva Gilda Ne'enu, the 7 layers in the eye. And they are what it says about Shimshon Agibel, Sheva Machlafas Roshei, the 7 curls of his head. The 7 spiritual bechinos which exist in the eye are parallel to the 7 spiritual bechinos that in the hair. So the eyes are in many ways parallel to the hair. By the way, one of the things, the big surprises that I met when I started learning Likutei Moharan was the first time that I discovered that looking is not a passive thing. I thought that you look at something, you see something, it just means that it goes into your eyes and you see it. It's passive. You just see it. I never realized that the sight, the looking, is a two-way street. That the looking has a ashpah. I didn't realize something called in Ein Hora. I didn't realize there was something like this. Ein Hora means that the looking
can ruin something.
Has the eyesight that looking at something. It makes them mashpia on that one. And Reb Nosson says that when the Rebbe sat with him the last night of the Rebbe's life, and the Rebbe was waiting for Reb Nosson to ask him what should be the anhaga after the Rebbe would pass away. Reb Nosson b'shum panim v'ofen did not want to put it into his mind that it's possible for the Rebbe to pass away. It was shum panim v'ofen. So Reb Nosson didn't say anything. So the Rebbe just looked at him. Just looked at him. And Reb Nosson says that looking, and he sat with him until the morning, all night long. I remember asking him, Simcha, how can Reb Nosson not ask him? Or not how Reb Nosson not ask him. Reb Nosson didn't ask him, I understand. But if the Rebbe saw that Reb Nosson doesn't ask, why didn't he tell him himself? I mean, that's the future of Klal Yisrael. Depends on Uman, Rosh Hashanah, the whole thing. So why didn't the Rebbe tell him himself? So Simcha told me the Rebbe had trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Trust in the Baruch Hu?
Yeah.
He's going to pass on the...
That whatever has to be, has to be.
Uh-huh.
And that was the first inkling I got at what it means to trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The future of Klal Yisrael is stolen. That's the last chance. There's one chance to say. And he wouldn't say anything. This Baruch Hu knows what he's doing.
And it worked?
No, I got, like, Ad Kedei Kach, yeah, Ad Kedei Kach. And it's like that. Reb Nosson says that nevertheless, that looking, says that he felt that the Rebbe is telling him, when he's looking at it, that he's giving him koyach. He says you're going to need a lot of koyach throughout your lifetime. A lot of koyach. He says with every status he looked at him, and every look that he looked at him, he gave him an amazing koyach for the rest of his life to overcome everything he needed. And in one of the famous messages that the Rebbe was sitting by the Tish, and Rabbi Abba, he brought the Rebbe a Kiddush cup, very precious Kiddush cup. And on the way, Rabbi the Sheikhet was about, and Kubel was a big person. With his son, they came over to Breslau. In anything it could go wrong. I mean, even Murphy's Law didn't work. In other words, they said, if you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. And it's just like everything went verkehrt, completely opposite. And they got stuck, and it was raining and it was snowing, and I weiß nicht what was going on, and there was no way they could get to Breslau without selling that cup, because nobody would take that. To pay a lot of money to come to Breslau on Rosh Hashanah. They made it to Erev Yom Tov by Mincha. This is when they made it to Breslau. After davening by the table, obviously they didn't. I've got a big frog in my throat. All right, sorry about that. Anyhow, be that as it may, they didn't get a chance to speak to the Rebbe.
Did not have a chance, okay.
By the Tish, the Rebbe was sitting, and he was when he got to eat the soup, the Rebbe looked at Rabbi Abba and his son. And he said, what favor should I do for you, for the mysterious nefesh that you had for me? So the Rebbe says to Rabbi Abba, for you don't need anything from me in this world. For the son, he took a spoon of the soup, he gave him, here, drink a spoon of the soup. And the son of Rabbi became very, very rich, very, very rich. After that, yes. Yeah. And the Rebbe said, I will look at you, and with every look I will look at you, I will do you a great favor. The staklus of the tzaddik, you get a whole different kind of understanding of what reality is. When you understand that looking changes the nature of things. Good looking, bad looking, v'chulu. Find this bechina This Bechina is totally beyond the saga of science. We don't understand this. So we don't have any kind of mishalim that we can bring and understand where this comes from in our own set of experiences. It says that the tikkun that refuah is yain sheistakal b'tzadik hamisi, because the eyes have to do, a parallel bechina to the hair. And what is the hair? The hair of the head, dafka the hair of the head, not the hair b'chlal, but the hair of the head. The brain produces energy. The moichin, the activity of the mind, it needs to have a safety valve. When the mind works, especially before the mind is really settled and the way it's supposed to be, the excess light that comes from the mind goes out through the hair of the head. That's why the hair physically is built like tubes. Every hair is like a tube. And there's a specific way how the hair should be. Dafka, the hair of the head, if you noticed, is that over here we make it very, very short, and from the side we make it long. From the payas we make it long. That's in order to balance out the release of extra energy, of excess energy, brain power that comes out of the mind. When the mind is shaket, when the mind is already settling, then there's no need to let off so much steam. So that's why the hair falls out when people get older. So the Rebbe explains this particular bechina. So the hair, and this was sort of halachas, now to cut the beard, and over here you have to, and this, and oval to cut the hair, when not to cut the hair, the whole inyan with the payas and all that to be v'chulu, because the hair are very, very high bechinas ad kadei kach that in Etz Chaim, when Arizal starts to describe the kaviyachol, the formation, the form of the Adam Elyon, all the descriptions that are contained in Etz Chaim are all meshalim. There's no person up there. These are all meshalim. But nevertheless, the mashalim, the highest that they get in Etz Chaim is the level of the ears and the eyes. Anything above that, they don't talk about it in Etz Chaim. It starts from the ears and the eyes and it goes down. The beard, the throat, the chest, the chula. In the bechinas of sa'aros, of hair, even the Kabbalah, they don't talk about it b'chlal. It is so beyond anything we can comprehend. So you see that the eyes are parallel to the hair. This is a bechina of intellect. The hair are the extra, the excess, the shirayim of the moichin. That's why Sheva Machlafos is a Sheva Midos, which is the sphere of Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. That give birth to all the Midos of the Adam. Shecholfim v'Omer Machshava Shebamoyach, these are all the 7 Midos that go to through a person's mind. Because a person's Machshava is according to his Midos. According to the Midah where he is holding, this is the kind of thoughts that he is having. Sheva Machlafos Roshon. This is Machlafos Cholaf Ve'ovar, that it passes, it goes through. This is the thoughts that are going in a person's mind. Because the hair represents the moichin, the excess moichin. And when a person is pogim in the saris, when a person hurts the hair, nifgam re'iyah, the eyesight is also hurt. It's a shiva gildin eino, al ken shimshon shepogom b'sheva machlefos roishoy. That's why Shimshon, that damaged the hair, he told his wife that if he's going to delila, if they're going to cut his hair, that his power will leave, and she shaved his head. That the Plishtim took out his eyes. Being that he hurt the saras, they had koyach to take his eyes out. Al ken, al day the woman drinks a wine, the tzaddik amiti look. This yain has the koyach of the eyes, because the tzaddik, by looking at it, give the koyach of the eyes. The shiva gildin eino, the 7 layers of the eyes. They fix the 7 layers of the hair. Shem asaris, the moichi. This is how you fix the mind. You bring lavnunias to the gidin, and this cancels the extra blood that this woman have and gives her a foot. About Daniel Tiso in his dream of Kodesh Baruch Hu, usarashe ke'amal nakei, and the hair on his head in the vision that Daniel saw, he says, and all the mamlochas of Mashiach will come, person sitting on a chair, and he says, and the hair on his head is like clean wool, meaning to say that the sa'aras are b'chinas tzemer. In Kabbalah, tzemer is a very, very big and high b'chino. The b'chinas loshen shezahoris. This is the wool, piece of wool on Yom Kippur that was dyed red. That on Yom Kippur they would hang in, and when the averos of Am Yisrael would be atoned, it will turn white. This is Shul Malbinat Mumiyat Shel Hashasag Gidin. That is the whitener of the redness of the 365 Gidin. That's in Beis Hamikdash. We would put Lashon Shezoiris when they were sending the Sarah Azazel, and it would become white. Mechinas, that it says, if your sins will be kashanim, they'll be as red as blood. Kashela gelbinu, they will be as white as snow. Imiadimu kasaylo, if they will be red as crimson, at that time used to produce the crimson color from the worm. Imiadimu katoilov, they will be as red as that color which is produced from that worm. Katseveriu, they'll be as white as wool. So you find that the hair is fixed by that. The prinasar, the tzemer, the admumias, the redness, shudam nida kanal, this will be fixed. Zeh pchinas, it says, mina meitza karasika. Mina meitza tzartika, meitza is oisios tzemer. From the straits, meitza is because the meitza talks about the spiritual beginning is called the hair of the zakon, that there is in the parts of Zer Anpin. They're coming from the bechina of hair, that there is an arich anpin, which are white. It's called tzemer. Kamu b'kavonas ayin sham ve'aven. This is a very, very, very deep Kabbalah in Yana. We just touched them to be able to touch the Torah. עד כאן, צורך חפטס.